Now that the Switch is in press hands, now that Zelda is in press hands, we've gotten some great shots of the game cartridges and the game cases. And here at Switch Force, we are ready to deliver our thoughts on them. I'm your host, Zach. I've got Jake with me. What do we think about these unique sized and very spacious boxes?
Yeah, I think that they're judging from these pictures, the comparison to like a PS4 case or whatever. They look like they're a good size. They kind of look like almost they're like basically tall enough to be a book or a DVD case from the looks of it, or close to it at least, height wise. So like they will fit nicely on a shelf and not look all awkward like a 3DS case. But yeah, they look really intricate and like beautiful on the inside. They got the spread of the Zelda and the Bomberman that we've seen here. The Bomberman is kind of cute and cool with like some 8-bit graphics, and then the Breath of the Wild one has, of course, the big, expansive, Link climbing thing. So it's almost like an artistic approach to when you open it up. It's not just a blank case. They kind of took it to make it something that you would want to collect and keep on your shelf to be able to look at or reference for later.
Absolutely. And I like that you took sort of the artistic approach there, because a lot of people have been saying, man, these cases are so oversized because the cartridge is so small. If you look at it down there in the corner, and without instruction manuals or any sorts of pamphlets or paraphernalia, it's like, what is the reason for this size? But when you look at the case compared to like the PS4 case, the PSP case, it's a real interesting size. Like you mentioned, it's tall enough to look good on a shelf, and it's big enough to have, I think, a retail footprint that's more reminiscent of a home console game, and I'm sure that's something they were determined to have, which is a game case that doesn't feel like it's just a handheld.
Right.
And at the same time, it's a different enough form factor from the 3DS that you're not going to confuse Nintendo's own two consoles, but it's something unique compared to the PS4, the Xbox One, the Wii U case. So it comes in at a weird size, but I think it's like a great shelf size. Like you mentioned, like a book or a DVD. Obviously, 360, PS3 cases, PS4 cases, whatever, those are much more akin to a DVD. But here, kind of the cuter form factor. People have always loved collecting 3DS, DS games, I think, for that reason. And this looks to be another one that is super fun to collect and display.
Yeah, and there is definitely clips for an instruction manual, so it's not totally like all wasted space. But
there's just not one in there.
But there's clear clips in there, so there's definitely, it probably comes in there, and I'm guessing for the photos they just took it out or something. But
no, there's not.
Oh, there's not. They just decided they're going to have extra clips. Okay, well, never mind that. But what I think that I don't think people should be complaining about the size, that it's like so overly large, because that, to me, the case is something that you're going to be displaying. It's not something that you're going to be carrying with you, especially if you're traveling with the Switch. Most people are going to have some sort of case, whether it's an official Nintendo case or something that they make themselves, like a little pouch that they're going to keep just the cartridges in. So to me, the size of the case is good because, we said, it displays well. But if you're going to be taking the games with you, it's not really cumbersome because the freaking cartridge is so tiny that you can fit like 20 of them into your back pocket, which I'm not suggesting. Get a case for them so you don't lose them. But when you're going to be moving them around, the case shouldn't be an issue because I feel like most people are just going to take the cartridge with them.
Yeah, and Ars Technica had a good spread on the actual cartridges. First of all, they've calculated it takes up 1% of the box, which is... It looks like it's a little more than 1%, but apparently...
I think they must mean volume-wise, because,
that's probably true. I was going to say, very odd. So they showed this spread in comparison to all other cartridges. You've got Game Boy Advance, original Game Boy, Super Nintendo, NES, N64, 3DS, DS. It's by far the smallest, but not like that different from the Vita cartridge, really. A little more square than round, but it is kind of neat in this Fallout photo, comparing the Zelda original Legend of Zelda cartridge, the gold cartridge, to the new Breath of the Wild. I'm like, man, how far cartridge tech has come that they've shrunk things down, from that to this.
Right, and again, I think it's perfect for portability, which is what the Switch is all about. You don't want to be taking around a giant cartridge with, your Switch. You don't want a cartridge that's half the size of the system you're playing on. So I think that it's kind of like best of both worlds. You got this very artistic, clear case with pictures on it that you can display or resell very nicely, and then when you're traveling with the games and want to just play the actual game itself, it's very small and very portable and very just nice to keep around.
Yeah, and I may be in the minority here, but I kind of wish it was more Game Boy size, just so that you could have a little more artwork on the front.
I mean, I guess
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Vita cards just for that reason, because they can't really do much more than the title and a little logo.
right. But again, the case is beautiful. I think so. I think
Sure.
that makes up for it. And while there is something to say like for having like that weight or like size and the tactile feel of a little bit bigger thing, it's kind of like with the Joy-Cons. Like they feel really small, and you kind of wish they were bigger. But I feel like it's something you'll just get used to. And like I said, the case makes up for the lack of cartridge art.
Totally, and it is interesting that they're doing sort of the full picture on the flip side of the cover insert, the cover art, because Vita doesn't have that at all, and a good number of PS4, Xbox One games do, but not tons. And so I wonder, since we've seen the inside of Bomberman, we've seen the inside of Zelda, I wonder if this is going to be like a thing, that all of them have a reversible cover.
I definitely think they will. Cover. I think they will, because the case is clear, I think, for that purpose, to make it like futuristic sort of in a way that's just like, it's not really about the case, it's about what the case is housing and like the images and what the game is making you feel. Like Super Bomberman is like fun and like it literally says "have a blast" like in the game insert. So I mean, and then the Breath of the Wild is more like dreamy, super artistic, open, spacious thing. So I think it just further elicits, like, when you open the case, what kind of experience you're about to have with the game. And I think it's just sort of, again, kind of Nintendo trying to set themselves apart from just, opening it and seeing a green or blue plastic case.
Yeah, and we do know that Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus is going to have a booklet inside, so it will be taking advantage of those luscious clips. But I really like these. I think that the wasted space, like you said, whatever. It's fine, given the fact that they're going to look great on the shelves. And it kind of makes me wonder if I should not go digital and instead get physical cartridges, so I can have the boxes and have that cool display on my shelf of a Switch shelf, which hopefully has a lot of great titles as the months and years progress.
Yeah, I mean, again, the reason most people go digital is to have everything in one space and not have to be switching discs in and out. But popping a cartridge in and out is really easy, and these things are so freaking small that whatever case you're probably going to get from your Switch anyways to protect it is going to have a slot for like at least 10 of them. So I mean,
you could in theory take like the Zelda game case and put all of your other Switch games in that case and still have room for anything else. Right.
I mean, I feel like because of the form factor of how small it is, that I would go with the physical, because there's just so many advantages. It looks cool. It's fun to be able to like switch them out. You can give it to a friend to try out a game. You can resell it if you're tight on money. I think there's just an infinite number of reasons why I would personally go cartridges.
Yeah, I think you may have convinced me. These images may have convinced me. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the Switch cartridges and the Switch game cases. Are you a fan of their unique size? Do you think you may go physical after seeing this, or are you still okay with digital? I really like what they've done artistically, and I like what they've done with the game boxes themselves. So let's see what you guys think. Let us know in the comments below. We are so close to having these in our own hands. Until that time, though, everybody, thanks so much for watching. For myself and Jake, Switch Force out.